All right, today we are watching a program called Yourtown USA. That's where you guys are all right now, right? Yourtown USA. This is by the Jam Handy organization, and this is from, it doesn't say what year it's from actually. So let's just dive in, right? We are learning about Yourtown USA today. Let's dive in. Oh wow, so I said this was a Handy Jam production, but I guess it's your Chevrolet dealer who presented this. That's funny. That's I guess down here in the corner you can see Jam Handy organization, but it's funny that this is mainly sponsored by a Chevrolet dealer. That's a very old-timey thing to be sponsored by as well. It's a really creative title card, to be honest. To have the title of the picture printed on like a billboard or sign entering a town, this is like a pretty impressive way to introduce the topic. But yeah, there it is, Yourtown USA. I wonder if there is a Yourtown USA. Like, obviously this is a constructed town for the purposes of our program, but there might be a Yourtown USA somewhere. I'm so curious what this even like is in relation to. Like, why is it your town? You know, like we learned about Hostland recently. Now we're learning about Yourtown USA. It's just like we're learning about a lot of fictional, real places, though. This all to me looks like a miniature. Is this a real place or is this a miniature? I think it's a miniature. Or it's some sort of constructed set. This is not a real place. Like these clouds, these aren't real. This is like a painted wall or something. But this is a real street. All right, well, I'm pretty sure that last scene was all like a miniature or something, but this shot, these are real streets right here. These are some real American houses. This is Yourtown USA, I guess.
Dawn comes to Yourtown USA, and at the same moment to hundreds of other towns to the north and south.
All right, so dawn comes to Yourtown, USA, and at the same moment, hundreds of other towns to the north and south. So that's interesting. So we're trying to establish this as like the most generic USA location ever, pretty much. And I'm curious why. I'm curious what the perspective or what the framing of that is. Or I'm curious why we are trying to frame this town as every American town. Like, what are we getting at here? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So let's just keep watching, I guess.
To thousands of communities to the east, it has already arrived. Those to the west still lie in darkness.
Those to the west still lie in darkness. Again, that's an interesting perspective from people of this time. I guess we don't know what time this came from. I'm gonna guess like 1960s, maybe late 1950s, but either way, like you can see that during this time, the West was still kind of dark to them, or it was still like this new place that was out there, and it didn't seem as settled as Yourtown, USA.
Yes, day comes as it always does. Already the townspeople are stirring.
I love this like inset shot of the guy waking up. Like again, this like is a specific editing choice that had to be made to do this.
Johnny Everton! Mama says you've been in there long enough.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Is this guy doing sit-ups but like vertically? Like, is that a real exercise? I've never seen that exercise before. That's so funny. That's, again, I guess Yourtown USA, people do things a little differently. I guess it's not my town USA, it's Yourtown USA. So that's why people do things differently than I do. I get it. I get it now. Hey, I'm an American. I understand that people can do things differently in other towns.
1.
Dude, what a the background shot in this is just like one long unbroken shot of them driving down a very straight street. Like, even though we're not even like, that's not the main object of our scene right here, like I'm still curious like how long this street is that they just got this one uninterrupted shot of it going straight down. I don't know.
Elmer, breakfast!
So is that guy gonna be our main character for this? I still don't understand like the framing of this. Like what are we even trying to learn? Maybe we're just trying to purely learn like what an American town even is. So that'll be enjoyable. I grew up in a town pretty similar to this. Like all these streets, all these like main streets and shops and everything, like this certainly reminds me of where I grew up. So that is funny.
As the day grows, the town itself comes to life.
Pleasure a leisure shop. That's funny. Again, I love seeing like these old shops, like the businesses that like mom and pop started, you know, like Pleasure a leisure shop is like a mom and pop store in this like local main street. So it's so fascinating that, yeah, there used to be businesses like this that were just personal businesses, not like corporation businesses, just lining the streets. It is such a more authentic time.
Morning, gents.
Carl, good morning. Nice day.
Hang on, the shop next to it was selling cartoon cakes? Alright, were these real shops or did I just get tricked? Because cartoon cakes, I don't know what that means. I'm so lost. I don't even know what they'd be selling in this shop, the Pleasure a Leisure. It looks like they have appliances maybe. That's so funny that like, I don't know, here in America now, you'd buy an appliance at like a Lowe's or a Home Depot. You wouldn't go to Pleasure a Leisure on Main Street. But I guess back then, that's the whole point, is back then in Yourtown, USA, you would have done that. You would have gone shopping on Main Street for all your, home appliances.
Okay, cross when the light's red again.
Why does this kid look like me as a kid? Like, this is literally what I look like as a 8-year-old kid or something.
And I'll tell Miss Henneby. I'm warning you. Bye, Mom.
I like how they're establishing like all the different plot lines of the town. This might just be like a general audience episode where it's just like we just learn one thing about everyone who lives here. Hopefully that will be the case. I don't know. I don't quite understand what we're learning about still, but I'm having a good time. This is giving me like Gilmore Girls Stars Hollow vibes right now. I don't even know if that's a reference any of my audience will understand, but this is definitely like maybe like the Back to the Future city. What was it? Like Sunset Valley or something? Like we're getting like the perfect American town senses from this.
Elmer? Mine now. You hurry right home after school.
Okay, Mom. Hey, Johnny, slow up for me.
That voice was definitely not the kid's voice. That was like a way older kid voicing that. They had to, for these programs, they always had to record the audio afterwards because they didn't have audio visual cameras at the same time. So that was definitely recorded later, but they got a different kid to record that too. You could definitely tell that was a different person.
And so your town comes to life. The story of any one day.
Dang, so this is what your town coming to life looks like. A bunch of guys walking into like a gated factory room. Which is so funny because there are literal abandoned factories in the town I live in, or the city I live in now, that literally look like exactly like this factory. Like there are huge buildings and all these windows on it are broken now, just shattered glass everywhere. Like it's so funny seeing a factory like this because to me, in America now, factories are just like abandoned buildings. Like factories aren't actual places where people work anymore. They're just like huge brick buildings covered in broken glass. So it's interesting to see a factory actually functioning here.
This community is a story of small talk over back fences.
Small talk over back fences. This really is like your classic, like a perfect American suburb village right here.
Of big talk over conference tables.
Big talk over conference tables. Yeah. Oh man, this is this is just America. Like this whole video is just gonna be like random normal American activities.
Of merchandise bought. Of merchandise sold. Of bills.
Oh, I wonder if that guy was in Pleasure a Leisure. I feel like maybe he was.
Rendered. Of bills.
Dang, that's what the mailboxes used to look like. I wonder if they were blue still. They kind of just looked like brown or something, but that's funny. Literally for this channel, I have to mail the SD cards that I'm recording this on to my editor. So literally once a week, I go to a mailbox pretty much like this, and I just drop the SD card with all the film information on it to go to my editor. So it's just, I enjoy seeing this girl dropping stuff in her mailbox. That's just, I very much relate to the task of dropping things in a mailbox still, which is funny because that feels like an antiquated thing to do, especially with like digital files,
Paid. Of life ebbing. And of life beginning.
Dude, that guy reacted so fast, like he just like knee jerked right there. That was like, I wasn't expecting that.
But the story of
All right, hang on. So this is like a main street in a town in the USA somewhere. So this is interesting. So there's like one street, and at the end of it, you can see it's just trees. Like the street doesn't go much further than those trees. So that's interesting. That's interesting that there is just like literally like one street and then a side street.
one day in your town is also
But that's what American cities were like in the very beginning. Like they were being settled. So like at the very edge of American cities, you would just find wilderness. Whereas I feel like in places like Europe or India or anywhere really, pretty much everywhere by now has been cleared. So you won't just find like wilderness fully surrounding every single town in America. But that's pretty much how every town is here. Like you will just go into the forest once you leave town. There are no fields or anything. It's just all forest wherever there aren't buildings. At least this part of the country, which I assume is what we're trying to replicate here with Yourtown USA. Like, I am imagining this is in, like, Pennsylvania, New York, maybe, like, Virginia, but, like, one of those coastal original 13 colonies. That's where I imagine this all happening.
a story of moving materials from one place to another, in and out of town and within the town itself. Without this continual moving of things, life in your town, indeed your town itself, would be pretty static.
All right, so that's the thesis right there, I have to imagine. Without moving things, your town would be pretty static. So, like, I guess towns rely on things arriving into them and being shipped out of them. I guess that is an interesting take, especially for the days that people worked in factories. Like, there would be products leaving your town. That's just such a funny thing for an American nowadays to think about. It's like, oh, my town is like exporting something. Like, no one's town these days exports anything, you know? So that's a bit of a difference between your town and my town, USA.
For instance, consider the part the big...
Hang on. Oh, man, there's some more shops. So there's what, Carboos Inn? So that's so funny that there were just like inns on Main Street. Like, again, for me, like the part of the town that has all the hotels or whatever is just different from the Main Street. But that's an interesting note.
Husky motor truck plays in a single sun-to-sun period in the life of this one community. Long before...
Dude, look at this truck. I know I can't spend this whole video just gushing about how old everything looks, but like, I just love the design of these old cars. This one in particular has some character to it. It's just like, I don't know, it's kind of bulky in a funny way.
Before the town had fully awakened, loads of fresh vegetables had already
Fresh vegetables, that makes sense.
covered miles of state and county roads. Heavy loads.
Dude, look at this road though. That's so funny. Like, there's no lines on the side for the shoulder. Like, he's just on one half of it. Like, there's no lines in the middle either. Like, it's just like a free-for-all on this road.
Riding on heavy-duty trucks.
But what's so funny is the road already looks like pretty old. Like, you can already tell they've had to repair this road more than once, which is, I think, really funny. Again, I can't quite tell when this is from. It must be the 50s, maybe the 60s, maybe the 40s. It would be really old if it was from the 40s, but either way, you can tell that they have been repairing this road for quite some time at the filming of this, which I think is funny. I picture everything back during this era being like brand spanking new, so it's funny that they already have like a dilapidated road. Like, to me, this is when all the infrastructure was built, but I guess they had roads before this as well.
Food for today. Food for tomorrow. Food for the folks of your town.
Damn, look at this like factory farm pretty much. Like, this sign on top says cattle, and then it's just a building that stretches like off into the horizon. Like, you can't even see the end. Like, it reaches the vanishing point, you know? Like, that's how vast this building full of cattle is. Like, that's nuts. And I guess this truck is delivering cattle to the building, or is it taking cattle from the building? It seems like it's delivering it to the building for butchering or something. But that's crazy. That's crazy just how we're getting to see this factory farm. That's definitely not something that's in my town, USA. But that's funny how like they presume that like pretty much every town in America will have a building like this. Just a massive factory farm building that you drop your cows at.
The school bus, on time as always, gathers the most.
Oh wow, this is what an old school bus looks like. See, that's what I love about these programs. It's like I didn't even ever think that like school buses looked any different than how they look now. But I guess it does make sense that they did look different once upon a time. So I guess they had like a white stripe. I wonder what color this was. Oh, see, it doesn't look yellow is the thing. Like it looks like a dark color, you know, because just based on the black and white, like, I wonder what color it is. Does anyone know? Does anyone watching remember when buses looked like this and what color they were? Were they just yellow? I can't imagine they were, but I can't imagine this bus was yellow, but maybe it was.
Precious of all cargoes from the outskirts of town.
All right, Dow. Take your time.
That is the nicest bus driver I've ever seen. That is definitely like a common thread, I feel like, in all of America. It's just like how rude your bus drivers were to you. Or maybe that's just my experience, but like bus drivers were never like, yeah, take your time coming in the bus. They were always like, get in, let's go, you know? So I don't know. That's not my experience.
Future town mayors, council members, civic leaders, and outstanding businessmen transporting this cargo to the township school for today's session of learning.
See, this is what like a high school from the 60s or 50s looks like in my mind. Like this, I don't know why, this reminds me of like The Simpsons though. Like this is like something about the plain, I don't even know how to describe the aesthetic of this architecture because it really is, it's like brutalist, but also like a 1% reference to the classical. I don't know, like just the entryway. It's like, it's such a weird architectural balance, but it definitely doesn't look like the other schools we've seen on this channel before.
Precious cargo, delivered safely. An architect's sketch of a building is one thing, blueprints still another. But before either of these can become realities, thousands of cubic yards of dirt must be moved.
Dang, is this where they're building a house or is this the mine? Like, why is this guy looking at the blueprints at the bottom of like this quarry? You know, like, is he building a house here? I can't imagine he is.
Job only heavy-duty trucks can do. A job heavy-duty trucks do reliably day in.
Dude, honestly, I'm impressed this truck is making it through like this sand right here. Cause I don't know, I don't think my car can make it up this sandy hill. Dang, that's just another thing, right? My car today couldn't make it up this hill, but this truck from all the way back then can. Dang, you know?
Good load, Joe. Good truck.
Good truck, yeah, there you go. That says it all.
And to the gaping hole in the ground, a seemingly endless supply of heavy materials must be brought. Naturally, the job of hauling again goes to the heavy-duty truck. A means of transportation.
Dang, look at that pile of lumber. I'm so curious how much this would cost. Like, this is presumably the amount of wood it would take to build a new house. I think that's the plot line that we just had suggested to us. So I'm going to go with this is wood for a new house. And I don't know, I bet it's mad cheap, you know? Like, I bet this was like $500 or something. Whereas this wood, I don't even want to guess how much. This would be thousands upon thousands of dollars nowadays.
That is dependable and economical.
Martin Berger Cement Block Company. Dang, that is really like the quickest route to millions of dollars back then, isn't it? Just like owning a cement block or some form of like construction company like that, especially during this time when that's all everyone was doing was building new houses. Like you must have been so wealthy owning a cement block company.
Gravel, too, is important to your town and its growth.
Gravel too. See, I did not expect us to be learning about like the raw materials that go into building like American towns. But I guess this is like really interesting. Like I guess every single town does need a source of gravel somehow. I wonder where my town gets its gravel from. I guess I know where your town gets its gravel from, but not my town.
Gravel for new buildings. Gravel for new roads. And again, heavy-duty trucks are responsible for getting it to where it is needed and wanted.
I love the emphasis on heavy duty trucks, and these are the trucks that we're talking about. Like it definitely looks heavy duty, but it's, I don't know, there's something about the old aesthetic that also makes me think it's not as strong of a truck as modern trucks. I don't know though, these were the old trucks, so maybe this thing was like indestructible.
Take it away, Mike.
So the real question is, did they get these shots just for this program, or are these actual working truck drivers who had like to deliver this gravel somewhere and they just managed to get a shot, for free or whatever, Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Here's a job that takes unusual trucking power, stamina, and strength.
Unusual trucking power. Interesting.
The choice of building contractors is also the choice of the wholesale grocery house down by the railroad.
The choice of building contractors is also the choice of the grocer downtown. So I guess you're saying that like everyone gets to decide like kind of how the economy works based on what they control in the town. Like the grocer decides what products from the farmer he buys and everything. That's just, I guess this is an interconnected town. Things are a little different nowadays in American towns. I'm pretty sure our groceries come from like all over the world now, not just like your local farmer.
Delivering foodstuffs is a year-round job, a big job. Tonight's evening meal depends on today's performance of the grocery wholesalers' heavy-duty trucks. And just as
But look how nice this city does look. Like, again, there is a part of my city that looks like this, but all the buildings are completely abandoned. So, like, it is really shocking and pleasant to be seeing it not like that. Obviously, this is not my town. Maybe it is. That'd be crazy. But I definitely feel at home in this sort of place. Like, this is pretty much where I grew up.
hauling of foodstuffs is a job for heavy-duty trucks. So too is the daily delivery of refreshing beverages.
Dude, freaking Coca-Cola out here already. Like, that's what's so crazy about all these old programs. Is like, no matter what era it is, Coca-Cola had a billboard.
Especially when hundreds of cases are hauled at a time.
Gee, Pop, look at all the Coke.
Somebody please sample that. Please. Please can that little phrase, gee, Pa, look at all the Coke. Like, that is a great sample for you. I don't know where you can use that sound bite, but like, put that in a song somewhere, please.
Refreshment wherever you go, thanks to the heavy-duty truck. But as the day wears...
Hang on, so that was a Coke delivery truck? Dang, so they just drove, like, with the glass bottles. Pause. No way they're delivering Coke in a truck on, like, highways and dirt roads where the bottles are just, like, out in the open like this. Do you guys see this? Like, the back of the truck? Like, these bottles are in, like, 6-packs, and they're just rattling around in the back. That's crazy. Like, I don't know. They don't do that in America nowadays. They deliver things, like, inside of containers now.
But as the day wears on, all trucking is not moving new materials or merchandise.
All trucking. So is this pretty much just a video on trucking? This should have been a blue, shouldn't it? No, I feel like this is still yellow. We're still learning about like the American town more so than trucking. But I feel like trucking is a major theme of the American town.
For on this day, as on practically every other day, changes of addresses are taking place.
What's the matter, Shorty? Getting weak?
I like how like they're trying to also suggest that your typical American citizen is kind of just like gruff with one another. Hey, what's the matter, Shorty? Getting weak, Like your typical American response to when somebody can't pick something heavy up, Oh, what's the matter? Getting weak, Like that is kind of an American, I don't know, sentiment of just like, what, you can't pick it up, Like, we definitely do give each other grief for that sort of stuff as well. That has not changed one bit.
And every change of address requires the moving of beds, pianos, couches, refrigerators, and all other things that help to make a house a home. And here again...
Dude, this neighborhood looks so nice. Like, it just looks like a regular standard neighborhood. But I bet with, like, these trees grown in more, but I bet this now is like an upper middle class neighborhood.
Again, the heavy-duty truck plays its important part. A means of moving the valuable...
Dang, so this is like the U-Haul before the U-Haul, the American van service. You would rent like a trailer or whatever to put all your stuff in. That's so funny. That's funny how maybe like U-Haul is like the modern name of this service or something, but like that's funny how there was an identical service to what we have now. It's just called something different.
Possession smoothly and surely.
It makes a lot more sense for it to be called American van service than U-Haul, but I guess U-Haul also makes sense.
To the new home on the other side of town.
Is that their phone number on the side? Can somebody call that phone number and tell me in the comments what the reply was? Dang, that's a fire truck? That's hilarious. Yeah, fire trucks definitely look different now. Fire trucks are like 4 times the size of this. Like the dang, and the firemen are on the back. See, you know, when I was in high school, I trained to be a firefighter. So I know that firemen have like a little room inside the fire trucks to wait as they're being driven to the fires. So it's funny that they're just hanging onto the back of this little truck as it whips through the neighborhood. Yeah, that is different, but I guess still pretty much the same. Like the technology's different, but like the action is still the same.
24 hours a day, reliable firefighting service.
I love their firefighting like rain jackets too. That's not what we wear anymore, you know? We wear like wool jackets because that's fire retardant. But here they're just wearing like rain jackets pretty much.
Any day, every day. Another important service of the heavy-duty truck to this community.
Dang, we got to appreciate this shot, right? Because the fire truck is driving, but our camera is also driving faster than the fire truck. So we're 2 cars right next to each other on a road driving pretty fast to get this shot. You don't really think about that sort of thing. But they must have closed down the road to film this.
Thus, behind the wheels in comfortable cabs of heavy-duty trucks, men of Yourtown carry out the many moving tasks so necessary to the community's life.
Oh, I just understood why we're talking about trucks specifically, because this was sponsored by Chevrolet. I just saw it because in the last shot right here, you can barely make out the Chevrolet logo on the very end of his truck. So yeah, I get it now. All right, American towns rely on Chevrolet. Okay, it makes sense. We're being sold something, guys. We're being sold Chevrolet trucks. That's why.
Community's life. Whether it be a coal truck, a fuel oil truck, a furniture truck, or any of the many other...
What kind of truck is this? See, you can't just tell me all these different sorts of trucks and then not tell me, is this a police truck? Is this like an ambulance? What sort of truck is this? Of course, the one mystery truck is the one they don't tell us about.
Each heavy-duty truck...
This is the ice cream truck? Wow, that's fun. See, like, even this looks like so much more aggressive than a modern ice cream truck. Like, ice cream trucks nowadays are, like, soft and smooth, but this is, like, still just a big truck with ice cream attached to it.
Truck does a job no other vehicle can do better. And so one day comes toward an end. It's a different town this evening from what it was this morning. Each new construction job has grown 1 day's worth. 1 day's worth of new materials and new merchandise has been delivered.
That's funny. You know, I do kind of think in these terms. Like every day you're 1 unit's worth forward in your work or whatever. I do kind of think like that. So it's interesting to hear it in like these sorts of words in this sort of context as well.
1 day's production has been unloaded at the railroad yards. 1 day's worth of progress. 1 day.
Yeah, 1 day's worth of progress. That's how I think of it. Like when I record these, like I think, all right, I got 1 day's worth of progress on the videos done.
Is work done. And heavy-duty trucks, like every other important part of the community, have today helped to make Yourtown a little better place in which to work.
Okay, so it's the trucks that are making your town a better place to work. So we understand the sales pitch and like the thesis of this program all in one. So I have to wonder, like, did Chevrolet make this program get done, or was Jam Handy organization going to make this and they just needed a sponsor and they really seamlessly worked it in? Because it would really be miraculous if they like expected to use this script completely without Chevrolet's sponsorship. You know, like this would be a really good way. You know, like it's possible that this is just a very, very fortunate paid product placement right here. I don't know if the decision to make this program was based on Chevrolet's sponsorship or if Chevrolet sponsored this program specifically because it dealt with trucks a lot. I don't know. I can't tell. I figured more the first than the second, but whatever.
And a little better place in which to live.
Dude, we're back to this American town miniature. Please, would somebody else, like, just let me know that I'm not crazy and this does look like a miniature. Like, why would they do that, though? They had all the rest of the shots from this program in a real American town, but for the beginning and end, we're in this fake miniature town. I don't get it. It's just like somebody had to put in all the work to build this miniature when they just had a regular American town to get shots with anyway. I don't know. All right, the end. There you go. All right, that was a jam-handy picture with a nice Chevrolet truck in the background of that. I like that. So that was Yourtown USA. Honestly, I feel like I learned a lot more about trucks than I learned about the American town from this. I am a little disappointed. I guess I should have seen it coming with the sponsorship. It's just like I feel like I learned about every task a truck has within an American town. I didn't learn about like a standard American town. I learned about trucks within an American town, which I guess is still interesting. It's just not what I expected based on the title. But as we can see, there were loads of different applications for trucks. I think what I have to remember is that this is like the beginning of American towns having trucks, you know, like that is what they're trying to communicate. Like, oh my God, so much economic activity is possible now because we have trucks delivering goods to every single town in America. Like, I think this really was a time when things were changing so rapidly partially because of trucks. You know, there was other technologies as well, like roads, I guess. Roads, I guess, precede trucks in this sort of sense. But once you have roads, trucks are like the next big thing for economic development. So that is interesting. That's an interesting relation that I never really thought about, is how reliant on trucks a town's economy would be. I guess that is interesting. That's not exactly what I wanted to learn from this, but I guess we're learning something, so that's good. I guess I learned that every town also needs a source of gravel. I gotta look for my town's source of gravel now. I don't know why, I'm so interested. Because yeah, every town needs a source of gravel. That's what we learned from this. It's like, if you live in a town in America, there is a pit of gravel somewhere near you, and you need to find it. Well, what else? I think this was just a really pleasant glimpse into the American past. Like, that is kind of what this serves for me. It's like I just got to spend 10 minutes in America in 1950s or 1960s. Again, I don't quite know when this is from still. But either way, that was time well spent in the past. So I enjoyed this, and I hope you guys did too. And if you did and you want to help support this channel, you can follow the link in the description that'll take you over to the Internet Archive. The Internet Archive is where I get all these old programs from. So if you want to support me and what I do here, donate to them. And with that, I think we're ready to cut to black.